Yesterday we have seen this concept of load balancing. Okay, so here you see that the tendon is provided, it is in bent form. The bent tendon is there, which is having eccentricity 0 at the ends. Here if you see, the eccentricity is 0 at both the ends. Okay, because it is meeting at the neutral axis. If you see at the center, some eccentricity is present over here. That eccentricity is E. Okay, so we have resolved this. Suppose now this is our baseline. Okay, and here this is your force P, which is developed on both the sides. Okay, here is also P. Yep. And your this angle is theta. This angle is theta. So if we resolve this force, if we resolve it, then we will get one component parallel to x over here, another component parallel to y. So this is your P cos theta, and this is P sin theta. Okay, this is for this force. Okay, this P force. Now the same force is there on left hand side also. So here if you resolve this force again, then this will also become P cos theta and this will become P sin theta. So this is again become P, this will be P sin theta and this is P cos theta. So P cos theta are equal and opposite to each other, but if you see, you will get a vertical force. Okay, you will get a vertical force over here, and the value of this force is 2p sin theta, which is get developed. Why it is get developed? Due to the bent profile of the tendon. Okay, due to the bent profile of tendon, this force is getting developed. Now we will see the numerical based on this concept. Okay, so that it will be more clear to you. So now take the problem. A prestressed concrete beam, prestressed concrete beam, 400 wide, 400 wide, and 600 deep, has a span of has a span of 6 meter. The beam is prestressed. The beam is prestressed with tendon bent as shown in figure. The figure is given to you. The external load on beam consists of concentrated load concentrated load of 180 kilonewton at mid span. So it is acting at the center. If the effective pre-stressing force, if the effective pre-stressing force is 1300 kilonewton. Calculate calculate the extreme stresses the extreme stresses for midspan section of the beam. For midspan section of the beam. This is the given numerical. I will read it once again for you. A prestressed concrete beam 400 mm wide and 600 mm deep. So cross section is given to us as a span of 6 meters. Span is also given. The beam is prestressed with a tendon bent. So bent tendon is provided as shown in figure. So I will draw the figure. The external load on the beam consists of concentrated load of 180 kN at midspan. So a point load is acting on the beam of magnitude 180 kN, which is at the center. So 6 meter span. So it is acting at 3 meter. If the effective stressing force is 1300 kN, calculate the extreme stresses. So sigma top and sigma bottom you need to calculate for midspan section of the beam. So this is the given problem. Now I will draw the diagram. So this is our beam. And this is the neutral axis. Okay. This is the neutral axis, or you can say centroidal axis, one and the same thing. This is the neutral axis. The tendon of bent profile is provided. Okay. So it is like this. Okay. This is the tendon, and then prestressing force is acting on it. So the prestressing force which is acting on this, okay, and the magnitude of the force is 1300 kilonewton. 1300 kilonewton. Okay. And then a point load is acting at the center. So here somewhere a point load is acting. This is of 180 kilonewton. And also the distances are given to you. This distance, this is given as 160 mm. Okay. This is, if you see this total distance, this is your span, and this is 6 meter. Okay. And the cross section, you know that it is 400 by 600. So the depth of the beam is 600. Width is 400. It is given. So depth. So if I show you here the depth. So depth means this much of distance. This is given as 600 mm. This is your 600 mm. So half of that, this distance will be this point. This is the centroid. This will become 300 mm. And at bottom also 300 mm. Okay. So from here to here it is also 300 mm. Now if we see, this is our eccentricity E. This is our eccentricity E at the center. Okay. And this angle is theta, which must be equal to, if I draw the horizontal over here, horizontal line. So this theta must be equal to this angle. This angle is also theta. And this side also, if this angle is theta, then this will also become theta. So this is the given diagram. This is the given diagram. Now we need to find out the extreme stresses. Okay. So our first thing is, we know the area of cross section of the beam. Okay. So area of cross section. Okay, area of cross section, which is equal to how much? It is 400 into 600. So it will become 6 into 4, 24. 24, 1, 2, 3, 4 mm square. Okay, so it is 240 into 10 raised to 3. Okay, so now after this we will call section modulus. We will calculate section modulus. So section modulus is Z. What is the formula for section modulus for rectangular section? I will use directly the formula. It is BD square by 6. You can calculate it as I by Y. Your I value is BD cube by 12. Y value is D by 2. So it will become BD square by 6. Okay. So which is equal to, your B is 400 into D square, that is 600 square, divided by 6. So it comes out to be 24 into 10 raised to 6 mm cube. So this is our section modulus. Okay. Now we will calculate the value of eccentricity. Eccentricity E is equal to. So how much is the eccentricity E? So if we see, this total distance is 300, out of which this much is 160. So this remaining must be 140. Okay, 300 minus 160. So it is 300 minus 160, which is equal to 140 mm. Okay. Now in load balancing concept, we know upward load is equal to, it is 2p sine theta. So we need the value of sine theta. So we will calculate the value of sine theta now. Okay. So here if you see the diagram, this is the diagram. Now how much is this distance? So this distance, it is 3 meter. This is 3 meter. Okay. And this is, now we have calculated E is equal to 140 mm. Okay. So if I want to calculate the sine of theta, then formula is opposite side. For sine of theta, if you consider this triangle, then here in this triangle, this angle is 90 degree. So this will become your hypotenuse. The green side is your hypotenuse. So theta is equal to opposite side, that is your eccentricity, 140 divided by what? Hypotenuse. So this hypotenuse is right now not known to us. Okay. So first of all, what we do, we know this adjacent side and we know the opposite side. So we will calculate the value of tan theta. And as our theta is very small, tan theta is nearly equal to sine theta. Okay. So here I will write tan of theta is equal to 140 divided by 3000. Here, since since theta tends to 0, sin theta is equal to tan theta. Sin theta is equal to tan theta. Okay, tan theta. Therefore, sin of theta is equal to what? How much it is? 140 divided by 3000. Okay. If you want to solve, you can solve, or you can keep it as it is also. No problem. Okay. So now upward force we will calculate now. Upward load or force. Upward force. The notation is WU. U stands for upward force. It is 2p sine of theta, which is equal to 2 into p. The value of p is 1300. Okay, it is in kilonewton. into, I will keep this as it is, 140 divided by 3000. So if you solve this, you will get the value of 2p sine theta. Solve it now and let me know the answer. It is 121.33 kilonewton. So this is the answer. Okay. So 120. So we know now what is the upward force. Okay. Now here if you see, this is the upward force and downward force. How much it is acting? Downward force, it is 180 kilonewton. 180 kilonewton is the downward force. And the upward force we are getting over here. From here we will get that reaction to p sine theta. Why we are getting that? Because of this bent profile. That is the advantage of this bent profile. Okay. So here, what is the downward force now? So the downward load is equal to 180 kilonewton. So now net downward force. So downward 180 is greater than this 121. So here net net downward load, which is equal to, how much it is net downward load? 180 is moving down minus 121 point, how much it is? 33, which is moving up. So you will get the net load. What is the net load now? 180 minus 121.33. So it works out to be 58.67 kilonewton. Okay, so this is your net downward load. Okay, this load is downward. This is your net downward load. Okay, now we will calculate the moment. So here if you see the beam, the bending moment is due to what? Now we calculate the net downward load. So here the net downward load is 58 point something kilonewton. Okay, because this load is resisted by some upward reaction due to this bend tendon. So we calculated net downward load. So there is a bending moment at midspan due to this net downward load. In addition to that, the beam is having its self weight. Okay, so you need to calculate the bending moment due to dead load also. That is the self weight also. Okay, so and when you add those two, then you will get the total bending moment. So here, what I will do now, first I will calculate the bending moment. So the bending moment due to downward load. So this bending moment is, again now this is a point load. Okay, beam is simply supported. This beam is the simply supported beam. Okay, this beam is simply supported beam. So simply supported beam carrying a concentrated load at the center. Carrying the concentrated load at the center. So its formula, what is the formula? It is WAB by L for bending moment. The formula is WAB divided by L. This is the formula. Okay. So here your W is 58.67 into your A is 3 meter, B is also 3 meter, divided by L is 6. So if you solve, you will get the answer. So it is 88 kilonewton meter. Okay, 88 kilonewton meter. So this is the bending moment due to downward load. Now in addition to the downward load, we are having the self weight of the beam. Okay, so I will write here dead load of beam. That now we need to calculate. So how to calculate that? Assume that this length is not 1 meter, 6 meter, it is 1 meter, and we know the cross sectional dimensions. Those are 400 by, the cross section is here 400 by 600. This is your cross section. Okay, so now we will calculate the weight. So the weight of the beam is, it is 0.4 into 0.6 into 25. So we will get the UDL. It is 6 kilonewton per meter. So this is the dead load, and you always know that dead load, it is always UDL. Dead load is always UDL because self weight is always acting along every part. You cannot tell that here the load is different at any of the points. So it is 6 kilonewton per meter. This is the UDL. So again, now simply supported beam, and it is carrying UDL of 6 kilonewton per meter. So you can calculate the bending moment due to dead load now. So bending moment due to dead load, which is equal to, this bending moment is WL square divided by 8. Okay, so it is 6 into 6 square divided by 8. It is 27 kilonewton. 27 kilonewton. Okay. Now in addition to this, if you see here at the end, this load 13 kilonewton load, this is concentric load. Okay, so it is meeting at the neutral axis. So here at the end, eccentricity is 0. Eccentricity is present only at the center. At the end, eccentricity is 0. So there will not be any moment due to the eccentricity because the load is exactly acting over here. Okay, along this axis, the horizontal load. See what I want to say. I will draw the diagram. See, this is your beam line. Okay, this is your line of the beam. And now here it is your centroid neutral axis. This is your neutral axis. Now this is the bent tendon. So here your load is acting. Your load is acting like this. Okay. And this load, it is of 1300 kilonewton. I am talking about this end section. So here if you saw if you resolve this load, you will get two components, right? Here you will get two components. One is this component horizontal, another is vertical. So this component, it is P cos theta. So you know that it is 1300 into cos of whatever may be this angle, this is theta. Okay. And this is 1300 sine of theta. So vertical force we will not consider because vertical force has already taken care of. Okay, here 2p sin theta is the reaction that will take care of these vertical forces. Okay, so there is no need to consider this. But if you see this p cos theta now, this p cos theta here, it is perfectly horizontal and it is on the neutral axis. This is your neutral axis. So this p cos theta, it is perfectly on the neutral axis. So the eccentricity of this p cos theta is 0. Okay, at the end. At end. So there will not be any additional moment P into E which is acting on this beam because this P cos theta is passing or coinciding the neutral axis. Instead of this, if your this horizontal component is somehow above or below the neutral axis, then additional moment of P into E that you should consider while calculating the moment. Okay. So here the total bending moment we need to calculate now. So or otherwise if you consider uh, this as a acting live load, this as acting live load, then it is also okay. This is your dead load, so this will your become live load moment ml, and this will become dead load moment. Okay, so we will see that this is your ml 88 kilonewton meter live load moment, and your md, it is 27 kilonewton meter. This way also you can consider. You can club together total bending moment also, you can calculate and divide it by z, then you will get the bending stress. Or you can separately also calculate the bending stress due to live load, bending stress due to dead load. If you add these two, then also it doesn't matter because the nature of live load and dead load is similar in the case of stress distribution diagram. Okay, and both loads are acting downwards always, so it will not make any difference in this. So I hope now you understood these points. So now we will calculate the direct stress. Our next step is calculation of direct stress. So direct stress, I will call this as sigma 0 direct stress, which is equal to P by A. So P is, here you can see, here if you see your P, it is 1300 into 10 to the power 3 divided by area. What was the area we have calculated? 24, 4 times 0. So it is 24, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times 0. So now if you solve, you will get the value of this direct stress. So this value is 5.41 Newton per mm square or megapascal. This value is always plus. As I have told you in the last lecture, direct stress is always plus. Direct stress is always plus. Actually here, while calculating the direct stress, now if you see carefully, so this is our diagram. So if I draw the cross section, if you see it carefully now, this is our cross section. Okay, our cross section. Suppose this dimension is 400, this is 600. And now if you see, this is 1300 kilonewton force is inclined force. Okay, this angle is also theta. This is on the same line of action. See, this force 1300 kilonewton force, this is inclined force, this is acting along this line, so this angle is also theta. So now if you see on this cross section, it is not exactly 1300 kilonewton force acting, its horizontal component is acting along this cross section. Here there will be the cross section of the beam, ही beam अशी इकडे कंटिन्यू असणार आहे, बरोबर आहे का, अशी असणार आहे beam. ओके, हे असं असणार आहे पुढे, इकडे तुमचं 400 डायमेन्शन असणार आहे पाठीमागे गेलेलं, हे 600. So on this cross section, P cos theta is acting. So here perfectly, if you draw the horizontal force, then it will be like this, and this is P cos theta. But our theta is very small. Theta tends to 0, and you know that cos 0 is 1. So here your P cos theta is become nearly equal to P, because the cos 0 is 1. You can do it on calculator. If theta tends to 0, cos of 0 is 1. So P cos theta becomes equal to P. So here, that is why we have directly taken the value, that is, instead of P cos theta, directly I have taken here P. Okay. So now further calculate the bending stress. So next is the bending stress. So bending stress due to dead load first. Okay. So it is bending stress due to dead load. It is dead load moment divided by section modulus. So your dead load moment, what is the dead load moment? It is 27. So it is 27 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 24 into 10 raised to 6. So now this is plus at top, minus at bottom, dead load moment, because dead load is acting vertically downward. So the bending moment will generate in the beam is sagging type of bending moment, and if sagging is there, then tension is at bottom and compression is at top. So compression is at top, so at top it is plus, tension is at bottom, so at bottom it is minus. So this will plus minus. So your answer is plus minus 27 divided by 24. So it is 1.125. 1.125 Newton per mm square, or MPa you can write, megapascal. Then again, bending stress due to live load. So what is the bending stress due to live load? It is again plus minus ml by z, which is equal to plus minus 88 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 24 into 10 raised to 6, which is equal to plus minus. How much it is? 88 divided by 24. It is 3.66 Newton per mm square. Okay. Now you can calculate the stress at topmost fiber and stress at bottommost fiber. So here I will write stress at top. Stress at top, that is sigma t. So it can be calculated as P by A is always plus P by A plus MD by Z, that is Z load, plus ML by Z. So sigma T is equal to, it is 5.41 plus 1.125 plus 3.66. So what is the total answer? So it is 10.2 Newton per mm square or megapascal. This is the stress at top. Similarly, stress at bottom, sigma B, which is equal to P by E is always plus direct stress. Here it is minus MD by Z minus ML by Z. Okay. So sigma B is equal to, it is P by A 4 point, how much it is? 5.41. So it is 5.41 minus 1.125 minus 3.66. So sigma B is equal to, so it is 0.625 Newton per mm square. So this is the value. And now at the last, finally, you need to draw the diagram. So if you draw the diagram of this, so this is the cross section of the beam, 400 by 600. Then I will draw the neutral axis. This is the neutral axis. Now next thing is direct stress. So your direct stress diagram will be like this. This is your direct stress diagram. It is P by A always plus 5.41 at top and 5.41 at bottom. This is, you can give the name direct stress. Okay. Then next is the stress due to dead load, bending stress due to dead load. This also you can plot here. If you see the bending stress is plus minus 1.125 due to dead load. So at top it is plus, at bottom it is minus. So here at top 1.125, at bottom also 1.125, and we will join these points. It is like this. Okay. So this is plus, this is minus, this is always plus. 1.125, this is also MPa, Newton per mm square, Newton per mm square, Newton per mm square. Okay. Next is due to live load, diagram will be same. Okay. So this is the diagram. Again this value is 3.66. This is plus, this is minus. 3.66 MPa megapascal. This is also 3.66 MPa megapascal. And the resultant diagram is, if you combine all these three, then your resultant diagram will be, first I will draw the baseline. So this is our baseline. Okay. Now at top it is how much? At top it is 10.2 and it is positive. So positive, so we will plot to the right hand side of the baseline. It is positive 10.2 and at bottom it is 0.625. This is also positive. So we will plot at this side, but it is very less. Okay. So here I can write this is 10.2 megapascal. This is 0.625 megapascal. And now I will join these two lines. So this is our stress distribution diagram and this is plus. Totally it is plus. So net diagram is like this. Okay. So this is the first diagram. You give the names below the diagram. This diagram is for direct stress. Okay. This you can say here cross section of beam. This is your cross section of beam. This is the direct stress. Second diagram is bending stress due to dead load. Here you can give the name. Here bending stress due to dead load. Here the bending stress due to live load. And this is the stress distribution diagram. You can say this or resultant stress distribution diagram. You can give the name. Okay, this is your resultant stress distribution diagram. Okay, other diagram. But now if you see in that problem carefully, they have told you the question was like this. Calculate, the question was like this, calculate the extreme stresses. Okay, calculate the extreme stresses at midspan. This word was there. If you write down the problem, please check. At midspan of section or midspan of beam section or at midspan section, this type of wording is there. So what I want to highlight over here, this word midspan. Okay. So now whatever we have right now calculated all the stresses, we have calculated all the stresses at the midspan. Now suppose again this is your beam. Okay. This is your beam which is simply supported over here. If the supports are not given, we assume it as a simply supported. Simply supported. Now you see that this load is acting over here. Okay, that 180 kilonewton. We consider this load as our live load, and now dead load is like this. That is the weight of the beam. This was our dead load. Okay, so what will happen? So if I draw the diagram, see, due to this 180 kilonewton load, due to this 180 kilonewton load, what will happen? Beam will bend. Okay, due to the combined action of these two, the beam will bend, and the bending of the beam will be in this direction. Okay, compression at top and tension at bottom. But see, at the end section, at the ends here, the support is provided. Here at the end, here at these two sections, this support is provided. So bending is zero at the end. Am I right? What bending moment you take if the beam is simply supported? Suppose now this simply supported beam is given to you. This is your point A, this is point B. And if I ask you, what is the bending moment at point B and what is the bending moment at point A? So you tell me that you will tell that the bending moments are zero. Why it is zero? Because here the simple support is provided and simple support is not able to carry the moments. Simple reason is that. Okay, so here whatever we calculated the sigma t and sigma b values, those are for midspan. Okay, why? Because at midspan this bending moment is possible for live load and dead load. At the end, this bending moment will become zero. Okay, I hope now you understood what I am trying to tell you. If still you are having problem, you can ask me in the chat. So carefully read this word in the problem, midspan. So that is why we are calculating all the moments at the midspan. Now instead of this, if they told you in the numerical, calculate the extreme stresses, okay, instead of this, if they told you calculate the extreme stresses at at end section instead of mid-span. Suppose now this word is given to you, calculate it at end section. Now in the given problem it is mid-span given, so we have calculated that. Now instead of mid-span, suppose now this word is there, calculate the extreme stresses. Okay, calculate the extreme stresses at end section. Then what will be the change? So now again if I draw the diagram, here is the load 180 kilonewton. This we considered our live load, and here our UDL, that is dead load. But what is the change is that here is the support is provided. Okay. So when it says that end section, okay, when it says that end, first I will write formula for mid-span. If the mid-span section is there, then while calculating sigma t, what you do, you take P by A, then plus MD by Z plus ML by Z. Okay. And while calculating sigma B, it is P by A minus MD by Z minus ML by Z. Okay. But when it comes to end section, here, when it comes to end section, so while considering the end section, you should consider the forces which are present only at end section. So if you consider end section, then see the formula, what will be the stress. Okay, so sigma t, it will become only P by K, and sigma B is also become P by K. The rest of the things, this is plus 0, this is also plus 0, this is plus 0, again also plus 0. Because at the end, because at these ends the bending moment is 0, because it is simply supported. Are you getting my point? So this MD becomes 0 and this ML becomes 0. Bending moment of dead load becomes 0, bending moment of live load becomes 0. That is why this stress will become 0. So at end section, if they have told you in addition what is the stress at end section, then end section, here only the direct stress is there. Okay, and also your force, if you see at the end section, their stressing force, it is like this. Okay, at the end section, this force is like this, and your neutral axis, it is passing through this force. Okay, so here your eccentricity is also 0. Here your eccentricity of the force is also 0. If you resolve this force horizontally, I will show you only the horizontal component. Okay, horizontally, and this will be the force. So if you resolve it horizontally, this will be your force, and this is your P cos theta. Okay, P cos theta, and this is P cos theta, which nearly equal to P, and this value we have considered over here. There is no eccentricity, so the force due to eccentricity or stress due to eccentricity is 0 at the end. Okay, I hope now it is clear to you. Is it clear? Yes or no? Are you getting the point which I am trying to tell you, or simply it is blank? Yes, no, shall we move further? Have you understood anything from this? See, unless and until you understand this concept, you cannot understand the numericals which we are going to solve. Okay. So if still you are having any difficulty, let me know. I will repeat. So nobody is saying anything. So now I think it is understood to you. So I will show you one case. Okay. See now. Now problem is over. I am telling you the concept. See now. This beam is there. Suppose this is the neutral axis. This is the neutral axis. Okay. And now see how the tendon is placed now. the tendon is placed like this. Okay. And your stressing force, it will be acting like this. This is your stressing force. Okay. Now this is your stressing force. Now let me know what is the change in previous numerical and this numerical. What is the change? Change, if you see in the last numerical, in the previous numerical, this bend bar was meet at this end. Okay, it is meeting at this end. So here it is coinciding with neutral axis. So eccentricity at end was zero. This side also. But now if you see this, here is your one eccentricity. Let us call this eccentricity as E1. Okay. And another eccentricity here, and this eccentricity, it is E2. This eccentricity is E2. Now if I want to calculate the angle theta, where will be our angle theta? See, it will be like this. I have to construct a line over here. Okay, here this is the line, and then I will join this. So this angle with horizontal, here this angle is theta. And if I draw the similar line over here at the bottom, then this angle is also theta. Now what will be my total eccentricity? Now if you see this much of distance, this is your E2. So your total is it, because see, this is your E2, so this is E2. So this total triangle I need to consider. This is my angle theta. Okay. So if this force is P, then force P is developed over here in this fashion. In this bent tendon, see, P force is developed like this. Just to wait. So here P force is developed like this in this tendon. On this side also, as well as on this side also. Okay. So this is your P force, equal and opposite reaction equilibrium. So that concept now I am not going to repeat it. Okay, so this type of tendon will be there. Now here in this case, if I want to calculate the sine of theta, okay, so you know that as theta tends to 0, okay, your sine theta is equal to your tan theta, which is equal to, see now if you see this triangle, this big triangle, then if this angle is theta, theta is equal to opposite side upon adjacent side. This is your adjacent side. So your opposite side will be your total eccentricity E divided by adjacent side is L by 2. It will be at the center. Okay, and here your E is equal to, here I will write your E is equal to, it is E1 plus E2 while calculating the theta, and your upward force WU, it is 2P sine theta, which will be as it is, sine theta, which will resist the downward load. Okay, now see, while calculating the stress at the midspan section, now in the same problem, suppose, now in the same problem now, suppose we are calculating the stress at midspan section. So what will be the stress midspan section? Now this beam is having its dead load. Okay, its dead load is there, and suppose a load is acting over here, and we will consider it as a live load. So your bending stress will be there. Okay, bending stress is there. So bending stress due to which load will be there? So first bending stress due to live load, so it is ml by z. Second thing is bending stress due to dead load, that is mt by z. And your direct stress is always same. Your direct stress is, it is p by a. Okay, so your total stress is p by a plus minus md by z plus minus ml by z. This I have talked about mid span section. Okay, see, this whatever I have written over here, it is for mid span section. Now see, if I talk about end section now, section which is at the end. Now if I talk about end section, then what will be the change at end section? If you see this end section, now at the end, if you see this force, this P force, okay, I will take a new color, black. So if you see this force, if this angle is theta, this angle is also theta, then I can resolve this force like this. This force can be resolved like this. Okay, here also, this force will be resolved like this. So if you consider this horizontal component, this will become P cos theta. This is also P cos theta. But your theta is tends to 0, so your P cos theta is nearly equal to P. This is equal to P as your theta tends to 0. Okay. So now if you see the position of this P, this position of this P, okay, this is not exactly at the neutral axis. See the difference. This P cos theta or P force or stressing force horizontal component. Forget about vertical components. The vertical component, it is taken care by this force, which is evaluated from the reaction of this bent tendon, that is 2P sin theta. This force is capable of taking care of these vertical components and this live load. So forget about vertical loads. I am talking about this stressing force. Now if you resolve this P, this become horizontal. In the previous case, in the previous problem, this P cos theta was acting over here on the neutral axis, but it is not acting on the neutral axis now. So it is eccentric. So you know that eccentric forces also causes a moment. When you talk about the end section here, end span or end section, okay, so at end section this is the eccentric, and if you see carefully, this force, if I rotate this about the neutral axis, this will rotate in this manner. Okay, this is the direction of rotation. I will draw the direction of rotation so that you will understand. So if I rotate it, this will be the direction of the rotation. This is the direction of rotation. I hope now you are getting my point. So here P by A is present. Okay, your ML by Z is also present. So at end section ML by Z will not be present. It is 0 because at end section your bending moment is 0. Okay, I am talking about end section. At end section your ML is 0 and MD is also 0 because bending moment due to dead load is 0 and bending moment due to live load is also 0. Why it is 0? Because here the supports are there. Okay, so at the support bending moment is 0. This is also known to you. At support your bending moment is 0. Okay, so now see what forces will be there at the end section. So at end section, first the direct stress is there, direct stress, which is P by A. Okay, and then the stress due to eccentricity is also there. Stress due to eccentricity, stress due to eccentricity, and that stress will be PE2 by Z. PE2 is what? The moment, this moment. Ultimately, stress, bending stress is equal to what is the formula? M by Z. So M is nothing but here P into E, and E is your E2. This is eccentricity E2. So this is eccentricity E2, and your P is this force. P cos theta is nearly equal to P. So P into E is your moment, and if you divide it by Z, then you will get the bending stress due to this eccentricity. Okay, now the question is when to, whether it is plus minus or whether it is minus plus. So at top it is plus, at bottom it is minus, or at top it is minus, at bottom it is plus. So for that we need to see the bending of the beam, how this beam is going to bend. Okay, for that purpose now see, I will draw another diagram so that you will understand. Small diagram I will draw. So this is again the beam. So again I will show the neutral axis. This is again the neutral axis. Okay, and in this case now your force, horizontal force, it is acting at somewhere here. Your horizontal force is acting at somewhere here. Okay. This is your P, and here it is the eccentricity. This eccentricity is E2. So this eccentricity is E2. Now if I rotate this force, now if I rotate this about which axis? About neutral axis. About neutral axis. Its direction is like this. So it will try to bend the neutral axis downward. This is your neutral axis. It will try to bend the neutral axis downward. So what will be the profile now? So due to this bend, this what we can say direction, so your neutral axis will bend in this way. This is the direction of bending of neutral axis. That is the beam. Okay. And here, if I draw the line of neutral axis, this here neutral axis will be like this. Okay. Now you see, it is clearly observed that the fibers above the neutral axis are in compression, the fibers below the neutral axis are in tension. So at top compression, at bottom is tension. So at top it is plus, at bottom it is minus. At top it is plus, at bottom it is minus. Okay. So these are the stresses. Are you getting the point? So here also you need to consider this. In addition to this direct stress due to pre-stress, here will be also PE2 by Z, and it is plus minus. So this is first, this is second, this is third, which you are going to consider, and this is fourth. This is for midspan when the beam is given like this. Okay, and for end span there will be only direct stress and stress due to eccentricity. Okay, so these are the stresses which are getting developed in the stress members. So I hope now you understood this. This concept is very important. So that's why I have told you this. So now we will take one example based on this so that it will be clear to you. And in next lecture we will go for strength concept. So, but in the examination up till now this type of problem is not asked for the examination. But still I am telling you all these things in deep because to clear your concept. Okay, because this pre-stress, don't ignore this pre-stress if you are going to prepare for competitive examinations for MPSC, UPSC, whatever the engineering examinations are there. Everywhere pre-stress is there in your syllabus. For GATE also pre-stress is there. Okay, so these concepts are very important. There will be 100% questions in these competitive examinations based on this pre-stress. So you should get clarified your concepts. So now take the next numerical. So I will write the problem, you copy down it. A pre-stressed concrete beam is provided with bent tendon. Okay, now a pre-stressed concrete beam pre-stressed concrete beam is provided with bent tendon. The beam carries a point load of 150 kilonewton. The beam carries a point load of 150 kilonewton at center. Determine the stress distribution at end section. Determine the stress distribution stress distribution at midspan section of beam. Stop. The dead load of beam is dead load is directly given to you now. The dead load of beam is 6 kilonewton per 6 kilonewton per meter, and the cross section of beam is 400 by 600. So I will draw the diagram first. This is the given beam. Here it is the neutral axis. Then bent profile tendon. Now the tendon profile. This is the tendon profile. This type of tendon is given. Now your stressing force, which is acting at this level, and this value 1000 kilonewton. All these things are given in the diagram. Nothing much more data is given in the numerical. Then this total span, it is given as 5 meter. This eccentricity is also directly given to you. This eccentricity and this one also. So this is 100 mm and this is 50 mm. Point load 150 kilonewton, which is acting at the center. So here is the point load 150 kilonewton. Okay, this is external load, so we will consider this is as our live load, and this is your UDL, that is dead load. So dead load, it is given as 6 kilonewton per meter. 6 kilonewton per meter. Also the depth and the width of the beam is given. So the cross section is 400 by 600. So I will write over here. Cross section dimensions are 400 mm by 600 mm. 400 mm by 600 mm, these are the cross section. So now we need to find out the extreme stresses at the midspan of the section. So the extreme stresses at the midspan of the section, it is very easy to find out. First calculate the area, okay. Then calculate the value of Z. Then after calculating the value of the Z, calculate the eccentricity is also already given to you. Calculate the direct stress. So are you calculating it or not? Or are you waiting for me to solve? So first of all, here area is 400 by 600. Do the calculation. Then section modulus Z is equal to, it is BD square by 6. So it is 400 by 600 square divided by 6. The value of Z is 24 into 10 to the power 6 mm. Okay. Now theta, sin theta we need to calculate. So see here, if I draw the horizontal line, this is the line. Okay, up to this point we need to consider. Okay. So this above this is 50 mm. It is 50 mm. So now this angle is theta. This angle is theta. So here this angle which is at bottom, this will also become theta. This angle is also theta. This angle with horizontal is theta. I will not draw complete diagram. Okay. So now we need to find out the value. So the value of it is, if I use tan of theta, you know that as as theta tends to 0, sin theta is equal to tan theta, which is equal to tan of theta is, if this angle is now 90 degree, so this is your hypotenuse. So tan of theta is equal to how much? It is opposite side. So your opposite side is 100 plus 50. So your opposite side is 150 divided by adjacent side. So total span is 5 meters. So adjacent side is 2500. This is your value of sin theta. Once you know the value of sin theta, calculate the upward force. So upward force WU at midspan. This upward force is always at the midspan. Remember this. So it is 2p sin theta, which is equal to 2 into value of p is 1000 into it is 150 by 2500. So if you calculate, you will get the answer. It is 120 kilonewton. Okay. So now what is the downward load? This is moving up. This point load is moving up, and downward point load is 150 kilonewton. Okay. So downward load, it is equal to 150 kilonewton. So now the net downward load. So the net downward load is equal to 150 minus 130 or 120. 120. Okay. Minus 120. So it will be 30 kilonewton. It will be 30 kilonewton. So as we have considered, this is our live load. Okay, downward load. So now this is the net load. So we will calculate the bending stress directly. Okay. Or shall I write the steps? Okay, I will write. Otherwise, you will create the confusion. Bending moment due to live load ml, which is equal to, this is WAB by L is the formula. Okay. So W is 30 into A is 2.5, B is also 2.5, divided by L is 5. So you will get the answer 30 into 2.5 into 2.5 divided by 5. It is 37.5 kilonewton meter. Okay. So now bending stress. After the bending moment, I will directly here calculate the bending stress due to live load, which is equal to bending stress. It is ml divided by z, which is equal to 37.5 into 10 raised to 6. This is the value of ml, divided by z is 24 into 10 raised to 6. So your answer is 1.56 Newton per mm square, and this is plus minus because this load is moving downward, so it will create tension at bottom and compression at top. This is the bending stress due to live load. Similarly, we will consider now dead load. Dead load bending moment. So it is MD. It is UDL. So it is WL square divided by 8. So UDL, it is how much? 6 kilonewton per meter. Span is 5 meter divided by 8. Solve it. Is 18.75 kilonewton meter. Now calculate the bending stress. So bending stress due to dead load, which is equal to, it is md by z, which is equal to md by z plus minus. So md, what is the value? It is 18.75 into 10 raised to 6 divided by 24 into 10 raised to 6. So again the answer will be, answer is 0.78. Okay, 0.78. Please cross verify all the answers and calculation. So we have also calculated the bending stress due to dead load. Okay. We have also calculated the, I think, direct stress also. No, we have not calculated it. Okay, so we will calculate the direct stress. So again now direct stress, direct compressive stress, which always plus P by A, which is equal to, what is the value of P? 1000. 1000 into 10 raised to 3 divided by A area, it is 240 into 10 raised to 3. So how much it is? It is 4.16 Newton per mm square. 4.16 Newton per mm square. Okay. So in addition to this, now these all are present over here. In addition to this, now if you see, if you resolve this P, then your horizontal component P cos theta will be at this level. Okay, and it will rotate in this direction towards the neutral axis. Rotate it in this direction towards the neutral axis. This is also at this level. So if I show you in the separate diagram, so see now, this is your neutral axis. This is neutral axis, and the forces are acting at this level. Okay, both the forces at this level, and this is your force of 1000 kilonewton. 1000 kilonewton. Okay, and if you rotate this about the neutral axis, it will rotate in this direction. It will rotate in this direction. Okay, and this eccentricity is E. eccentricity, it is your E2, which is 50 mm. E2, which is 50 mm. So this will generate moment. Okay. So here I can calculate the moment due to what? Eccentricity. Okay. Moment due to eccentricity, which is equal to how much it is? It is PE by Z, PE2 by Z. Now this will bend this neutral. I will again tell you, neutral axis, forces, level of the forces, P, here P, this is your eccentricity E2, this is your eccentricity E2. So here the moment gets developed M due to eccentricity is P into E2. Okay, so P's value is 1000 and the value of E2 is 50. So here I can say moment due to eccentricity, additional moment. So you can say that this is additional moment. If this is 0, this moment will not be there. So moment due to eccentricity, which is equal to P is 1000 into E2 is 50. I will keep it as it is for time being, kilonewton, not meter, sorry. It is in kilonewton, and 50 it is given in mm. Okay, so 50 it is given in mm, so it will be 50 divided by 1000. So it is in meter, 0.05. So this will be your bending moment in kilonewton meter. So bending stress, bending stress. Now this bending stress is due to eccentricity. The bending stress due to eccentricity, it is equal to, what is the bending stress? It is PE2 by Z. Okay. Now is it plus or minus? Now see, it will rotate in this direction. So it will try to push down the neutral axis. So the deflection profile of the neutral axis, it will be like this. Okay, so beam will deflect in this way. So here your tension is at top, compression is at bottom. So at top it is plus, at bottom it is minus. So this will be plus minus. This is plus minus. So which is equal to plus minus, it is P is 1000 into, here it is 50 divided by, sorry, it is not 50, we need to convert this. So it is 0.05 divided by Z is 24 into 10 to the power. So instead of taking it in kilonewton meter, what I will do, I will express everything in Newton per mm square. So Newton per mm square means this is 1000 into 10 to the power 3 kilonewton to Newton. E2 it is already given in mm, 50 mm, and Z it is in mm. So 24 into 10 raised to 6. So you will get the answer over here, plus minus. So what is the value? 2.08. It is 2.08 Newton per mm square. Okay. So now the resultant stresses, the final point. Resultant stresses at top and bottom. Resultant stresses. Okay, at midspan. I am talking about midspan, because at end span dead load and live load moment becomes 0. So here stress at top, stress at top sigma t is equal to, it is P by A, which is always plus PE2 by Z plus md by z plus ml by z. So this will be, you put the values. What was the value? I don't have the previous data as it is get disconnected. Whatever may be the value, put all these values. Okay, put all the values, so you will get the answer in Newton per mm square. These values we have already calculated. So put all the values, so we will get the answer, and let me know the answer. So here you will get the answer, MPa. Similarly, stress at bottom, sigma b is equal to, this is plus p by a, this is minus p e 2 by z minus md by z minus ml by z. Again you will get the answer in Newton per mm square, megapascal. Okay, so remember this, these are the stresses for this portion, midspan. Now if they have asked you for the end span, now here only, if they have asked you for the end span, then what you will do? It is very simple. What you will do, you will give the stresses for only this portion. If it is asked for the end, then only this portion. Whatever may be the stresses are there, those will be present. Because at the end section ला काय होणार आहे? At end section, this will become 0 and this will also become 0. कुठं 0 होणार आहे हे? End section. Okay. So resultant stresses at midspan section जसं तुम्ही लिहिलं, तसं resultant stresses at end section पण काय येणार आहे? की पूर्ण सगळा फॉर्म्युला येणार. पण ह्याच्यामध्ये काय होणार, md बाय झेड आणि ml बाय झेड काय होणार, 0 होणार. कुठं? एंड सेक्शनला, म्हणजे एवढंच राहणार. ओके, मिड सेक्शनला पूर्ण येईल, एंड सेक्शनला ही जे टर्म्स आहेत md आणि ml हे काय होऊन जातील, 0 होऊन जातील. ओके, so I hope now this is clear to you. So all this we have seen this for the tendon which is having bend profile. So have you calculated the values? Let me know in the chat if you have calculated the values. See, if you are doing the calculation like this, when we are going to complete all the things and सॉल्व करत नाही, काय नाही तुम्ही लवकर लवकर, मग कसं किती काय एका प्रॉब्लेमला 2 तास घालवायचे का आपण, 1 तास 2 तास, हा, then your syllabus will remain pending. Top stress is 8.58. Okay, and what is the stress at bottom? Minus 0.25. So it is minus 0.25. Okay, so these are the stress resultant stresses at midspan section. Now next, resultant stresses at end section. So what will be the resultant stresses at end section? Now if you consider at top, sigma t is equal to, it is p by a, which is always plus p e2 by z. So you will get the answer. And at bottom, it is sigma b, which is equal to p by a is again plus, here it is minus p e2 by z. At top 6.24. At top it is 6.24. And at bottom, Mahesh Bharti, switch off your mic. Roll number 31, switch off your mic. So at bottom it is 2.08. Okay. At bottom it is 2.08. You can also draw the diagram of this, and you should know. So all this is about bend tendon. Okay. All this is about bend tendon. Now for load balancing concept, if parabolic tendon is there, if the tendon profile is parabolic, okay, if parabolic tendon profile, okay. So derivation is not there for the syllabus, just formula is there. So now if the tendon profile is parabolic, now suppose this is your beam, this is the neutral axis, and now the tendon is like this type of tendon is provided, parabolic. Okay, so here your stressing force is acting P, here your stressing force is acting P. Okay. So the maximum distance, this is eccentricity E. Okay, and this parabolic tendon is there when normally UDL is there. Okay. So external load is UDL. This is the external load. Okay, external load means our live load, which is UDL in addition to dead load. So in that case, your upward load, it can be calculated as your upward load. So directly I will give you the formula. It is syllabus, the derivation is not there. So it is given as WU is equal to 8PE divided by L square. 8PE divided by L square. हा डायरेक्ट फॉर्म्युला तुम्हाला दिलेला आहे फॉर अपवर्ड लोड. आता कुठून आला फॉर्म्युला, ठीक आहे तुम्हाला सांगतो. See how this formula comes. So now see, this is again a small angle theta. If you resolve the force, this will become your P cos theta. Okay, this will become your P cos theta. As theta is very small, this will become P. Here also the same case is there. Okay, don't bother about vertical forces. That will be taken care of this upward force. So P cos theta, this is also nearly equal to P. This angle is theta. Okay, then what is happening? See, this P into E is the moment due to eccentricity on this parabolic tendon. Okay, so it is P into E is the moment. And what is the bending moment? This UDL is there, simply supported beam is there. Due to the downward load, what is the bending moment? It is WL square by 8. Okay, now if we equate these two values, we want the equation for W. So if I keep W this side and if I send all the terms, so 8 will go here, 8 into P into E, which is equal to what will remain over here, WL square. So therefore L square ला आपण तिकडे पाठवलं तर काय होईल, 8 into P into E divided by L square, which is equal to W, and this W is nothing but this is your upward load. This is your upward load. Okay. So the expression is 8E divided by L square. When the tendon profile is what? Parabolic tendon profile is there. When parabolic tendon profile is there, then the upward load, it can be calculated as 8 PE upon L square. This is the only change in bent tendon and parabolic tendon. In examination, the numerical on parabolic tendon is generally not asked. Even on the bent tendon is also not asked. So still, if in the examination you get the numerical on parabolic tendon, then you just calculate the upward load by using the formula 8 PE upon L square. Okay. So it is 8 PE upon L square. But remember that this E is nothing but it is from eccentricity from neutral axis. But it is the eccentricity from neutral axis. So I think this much is sufficient for today. Okay. So tomorrow we will take the strength concept. What is the strength concept? And after that we will take the numericals which is generally asked in the examination. That is the one numerical, only single numerical that we will solve by strength concept, we will solve it by load balancing concept, and we will solve that example by stress concept. Okay, stress, strength and load balancing. All the three concepts we will apply on the same numerator and we will solve that. Okay, so these types of problems will be asked in the examination. So now drop your roll number into the chat box. We will stop over here.